All right, here we go. Here we are. This is such a gorgeous day outside. Oh my goodness. It is beautiful out right now. I can't wait to get out there. I was going to take you guys out there, but my systems weren't set up out there. Maybe next time. Here we are. Welcome to Tribe of Excellence. We are here for our Thursday live session. And we are talking all about building quality relationships today. Building quality relationships. How do we maximize our relationships at work and in our home environment? Hello, Michelle. All right, for those of you who are diving in live, let me know that you are here. Caroline is here. Yes, Andrew is going to kill it. I can't wait for you all to hear how to build quality relationships, right? Hello, Ria. So glad that you are here. And so this is a great topic for managers, right? And for anyone for that matter. This is a great topic. How do we create less transaction, right? Less transactional relationships and create more intentional relationship, long-term building relationships. I kind of duplicated the words there, but there we go. Hello, Jennifer. Alex is here. Jen Koner's here. Hello, everybody. Yes, this is going to be wonderful. And so Becky's here too. Glad to see you here. Relationships are a hard thing, right? Relationships are a hard thing. And so we need to be ultra intentional about building those relationships. And so let's say you're the manager, right, of a group of people. Hey, Julie, let's say you're the manager of a group of people and, you don't know your people. They're not going to be very likely to work with you when the times get tough. And I'll give you a good example. Hey, Steve, I see that you popped in. All right, fantastic. And I'll give you an example. My daughter is the manager. She's 24 years old. She's the manager of a spa in Boston, Massachusetts, right? Which is, a larger spa, right? But with COVID, there's been a lot of cut downs. So they have they have a front desk staff that she manages. They have a manager that she manages. And then they have a maintenance staff that she manages and a set of therapists, like massage therapists that she manages. Everybody got a pay cut. She even got a pay cut, right? Everybody got a pay cut. And so morale with COVID is challenging, right? Morale with COVID is challenging. But she, in this small little spa that's national, ranked number one in sales during COVID. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you what she did. While we are looking to get Andrew on in just a minute. And so what she did is she built relationships with every single one of her staff. She made that her priority. And she made it so that these relationships would matter, right, when times got tough, right? So it wasn't just transactional. So she doesn't have the slew of people not showing up to work that maybe you might have, right? Not you in particular, but maybe that others might have, right? So what did she do? Hello, Angelica. What did she do? Well, she has, she had her staff, right, her massage therapists and that kind of thing. Yeah, and yes, Anastasia, it was amazing. Number one, right? And so how does this little teeny place that's 5 times smaller than some of their bigger lines, right? How does she manage to do that? Right. And so as the manager there, she makes it priority to get to know her staff and to build them. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples. Okay. The first example is she has there's like a backboard, right? A board that only her staff see. And she noticed that nobody has ever posted anything to that board. So she went around and grabbed memes and sayings from different people that worked there and created a bulletin board all for her people, with pictures of them being, doing successful things, with success stories, with their memes on there, with fun little, jokes on there, stuff to really set the stage for "We Care About You." And she actually wrote that in there on the bulletin board just for her staff. Thank you for being so flexible, so energized during this very difficult time, right? So it didn't take very long. She cut out little things and she posted it all around. It didn't take very long, right? But because she took the extra step to let her people know that she cared, to let her people know that she cared, they were more energized, right? So she would put little bonuses on there, if we're going to upsell for you, we're taking care of you at the front desk. And then she would do the same for her front desk staff and really build their morale as well. right? Build their morale as well. So here's another example. So how many of you have boards for your teams? How many of you have boards for your teams where you can say happy birthday to Jane or whatever it is, right? So here's another example. One of her staff was running a little bit late. Now, this is not someone who's late on a regular basis. Let's just make that clear. One of her staff was running a little bit late. And so the staff called up and said, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm going to be 4 minutes late for work, but I haven't grabbed my coffee yet. Do you mind if I stop and grab a coffee? And the place was empty. So my daughter, the manager, says, absolutely. And I just deposited $10 into your, gifted you $10 into your account. Go get coffee and a dessert. You've been amazing lately. And I just want to let you know that. It's the little things. It's the little things that make the biggest impact. Okay. Let's see. Oh, all right. So Steve says you're hiring some folks up in Maine. All right. Anyone from Maine or want to be in Maine, you can go talk to Steve. Fantastic. So today we're all about building relationships, and you can't have like chaos and trouble and build relationships now, right? I mean, you can, but ideally you want to be building these relationships all along so that when they get a pay cut that you have no control over, or when business is down, or when things are happening that are negative, right? You know that your team cares about you and you care about them. So today is all about building those quality, authentic relationships in a way that counts. Now, even if you don't manage a team of people like my daughter does, you can still help the people around you feel connected and build those relationships. Now, why do we do that? We build relationships with the people around us, right? Because it feels good. It feels so much better to be in a work environment that has healthy relationships. Also, building those relationships with the people you work with sets you up for success in your future too, right? Because when you have to dig deep into a case or into a client or a project, and you need to recruit the help of somebody, you're going to have that foundation built. So today we're gonna invite Andrew to come on here. Andrew Butts, he is a master at building relationships. He discovered this hidden talent of his one day. Well, I actually was like, you are really good at this, right? And so I wanted to bring him here for you because he has all kinds of ideas on how you can do simple, small things to really build relationships with your people, okay? And so this is about relationships with your teams, relationships with your family and friends, right? This is about leadership is relationships with people. Leadership is relationships with people. You don't have influence over people that you only have a transactional relationship with. You have influence over people who know you as a human and you know as a human, and that you can go toward a common mission together. So today we're going to go ahead and bring Andrew on. So Andrew, if you want to go ahead and request to come on board, let's see if I can bring you on here. I don't know if I can find you. Ooh, my finger's probably right smack in the middle of everything. All right, so Andrew, go ahead and press the little button that says join on in. We'd love to have you come on in and share with folks here how you can build quality relationships with your people. Okay, so go ahead and press that button and we'll get you on in here. And while he's getting ready to do that, while Andrew's gonna press that button, oh, there he is. There we go. Let's see if I can do this right. I'm up here. So he's gonna come on in. And so while he's popping on in, I want you to think about the relationships in your life, right? Your career relationships, your business relationships, your home relationships that really need a little extra loving right now. Welcome, Andrew. So glad you're here. Let's see.
Hello.
There we go. Scoot back this way a bit. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. All right, let's give Andrew some love. Go ahead and show some love for Andrew. So we have Rhea and Jennifer and all kinds of folks just giving you some love right now. Give them some hearts and whatever it is, stars, exclamation points, whatever it is. Yes. So Andrew, thank you for being here with us today. You have shown phenomenal growth and that, I mean, it's kind of natural to you, right? Vicky says hi, Michelle, all kinds of folks are saying you look great. Angelica's saying hi, you're getting all kinds of love right now.
You guys are amazing.
Yeah. And so I wanted you specifically to come on here because you have a special gift. You have a special gift for making people feel really connected. And that's so critical in our world, right? And so Frank says, hi, Andrew. Anastasia's loving on you. So you're getting all kinds of happiness over here. So let's start off, just so folks know who the heck you are, right? With who the heck you are. Let's start off there.
Sure. So I'm Andrew. I'm actually a law enforcement analyst in Florida, smack dab in the center of the state. I've been an analyst for about, I don't know, I've lost count, over 10 years, 10 plus years. And it wasn't until recently that I decided to kind of amp it up and take it to the next level. And that's what really brought me to your doorstep. And through that process, being able to uncover this talent that I think had always been there, but had been clouded with this negativity that I just kind of unintentionally surrounded myself with. And so it just kind of, it grew from there.
Yeah, yeah. So you're a busy analyst, you know, you have lots of stuff going on and you're like, and you have some negativity coming into your environment, as we all do. We all have those stresses and pressures and all that stuff going on. And you decided, you know, I want to build some relationship. And it just, I'm going to hold you on answering. Caroline says he's one of the kindest people on this earth. Really happy you're speaking to us today. Welcome to the Decade Club, says Steve. So, you know, tell me, why do you think building relationships is so, because you're an untitled leader. You're an untitled leader. So why is building relationships so critical for leaders and untitled leaders?
So, I mean, in the world that we do as analysts, a lot of it is kind of built on information sharing. So, you know, where I'm working in one agency, I could have a series of crime where the criminals are traveling different jurisdictions. So that's one aspect right there, is building those relationships with other analysts at other agencies so that you can effectively share information. Another part of it within your own team is say someone is out of the office and you are responsible for picking up some of their responsibilities. Well, if you have that relationship with them, that's a seamless transition. It's so easy to just pick up and go. And even if someone just, you know, doesn't show up for work because they call out at the last minute, you're able to have that seamless transition. So that's really important too. But then also too, we work with detectives on a regular basis. So having those relationships with those detectives not only helps further their case so that they can make an arrest and solve their cases, but it also helps you showcase your talent and your skills with those detectives and even the chain of command to basically say, yes, I'm an analyst, and yes, I'm important, and this is why. So there's so much that I have found that kind of comes into play when building these relationships with everyone around you.
Yeah, yeah. Vicky says the two of you have worked together before. You've mentored Vicky.
Yes.
Awesome,
Yes.
Awesome. Look
Hi,
at
Vicky.
that. He's on camera now. He's live. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? He did it. So Frank says relationships are the epicenter of leadership. Absolutely. And so you're in law enforcement, but really relationships are for everyone, right? So building relationships applies to everyone. So whether you are, you know, serving your detectives and officers and other analysts regionally, or, you know, if you're part of, you know, you work in financial development for a YMCA, or you're a business owner, you know, trying to build your rapport for clients and that kind of thing, like relationships just matter. They just matter. Have you been in situations where you felt like it was very transactional with you and a supervisor?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was very, this is what needs to be done and I need you to do it. And it kind of felt very dry, insincere. It's not a matter of whether the work would or wouldn't get done. It was a matter of having that connection with the person that really kind of inspired you and motivated you to do the work rather than just do the work because you were told to.
Exactly. And times get hard sometimes, right? Sometimes things get difficult. And when you have this rapport built, not only is life more enjoyable, but you know, the commitment to the cause is collective. It's not just you out on your own. So you have several folks in here talking Mentoring 12 years ago. Yeah, a decade. So Steve is aging you.
Careful, Steve.
Yeah, yeah. Frank is agreeing with you that relationships are everything, and they truly, truly are. I mean, I think a lot of folks, especially busy leaders, right? We get caught in our office and we're just with our head down, just working, working, working. And that's a huge disadvantage, right? Like if you're an analyst or a leader or whoever you are and you're only in your silo, your thoughts are not as extraordinary, right? Because you can only think what you can think. You can't really gather
Right.
the information from other people, and you're the only one burning the candle. You know, the other people aren't there for you.
Mm.
Frank agrees. Steve agrees. There we go. How many of you listening here are thinking about the relationships that you have in your life? Are you in your life right now with these crazy surface relationships with your peers, your supervisors, the people you supervise, your family, right? How many of you are there? Roberta says, Andrew, you are amazing. So proud of you for working on yourself and your career. That's awesome. And so that really is the question, you know, when you were at a place where you were cutting off relationships with people because of the environment, right? And so
Mhm.
you had this negative kind of thing going on and you were cutting off relationships and you were feeling how?
Overwhelmed, like that, like I was in the center of the storm, and it was all unintentional too. I was just so focused in my work that I wanted to get the work done, um, and I didn't realize that in doing so, I was cutting out relationships that actually would have helped me in the long run,
Mm-hmm.
would have helped me develop, just even better, more productive products. Um, and I do feel like I lost out on that. Um, I don't feel that way anymore. I can tell you
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yes. What do you say to somebody who's like, I'm too busy for relationships? I'm just too busy. I'm too busy to chat, chat, chat. That's a bunch of waste of time. What do you say to those people?
So I was caught up in that as well, where it almost felt that it wasn't appropriate to have casual conversation in the workplace, and to think that that is a thing, it blows my mind because you have to be able to talk to people. You have to be able to not only enjoy the work that you do, but enjoy doing it with the people that you do it with.
Yeah.
You more often than not see the people you work with more than you do your own family.
Yeah.
Um, and to me, having that type of family environment at work is important to me.
Mm-hmm.
And having those relationships and building those relationships, you're gonna get that.
Yeah.
And really, what I think it boils down to is, if you think that idle chit chat in the office is unproductive, why is it unproductive
Mm-hmm.
when you need to be able to talk to other people in order to do the work that you do? Not just, if I'm tasked with doing writing this product, then that's my product and that's my task.
Mm-hmm.
But if I don't know something about it, I need to know who I can go talk to. I need to know who I can go reach out to. And I
Exactly.
think if you kind of reframe your mindset to think like that, then that
Mm-hmm.
might be helpful.
I love it. I love it. Frank says relationships are necessary and scary. Frank, you're so right. Relationships are scary. I mean, especially if you're not used to them, right? And
Hmm.
he says they require vulnerability, which
Yes,
we know is true,
yes,
intentionality,
100%.
absolutely. And Andrew's actually going to give us some very intentional ways to build relationships in a second, and transparency. And
Hmm.
those are great words, Frank. Thank you for sharing them, because it's so true that vulnerability, intentionality, and transparency really can help you build more than surface relationships. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, and having vulnerability, it allows you to open yourself up to other people in a way that other people might be just as afraid to have a conversation with you or build a relationship with you. So if you're showing some of that vulnerability and you're opening yourself up, then that builds trust. And it's that trust that's going to help you develop those really strong connections and those really strong, long lasting relationships with the people that you want to be around.
Exactly, exactly. And we have a couple of comments here talking about that trust factor, talking about the boundaries that you have to make too, and that, let's talk about that for a second, because thank you for that. I think it was Becky, because here's the thing. You don't have to be best friends with everybody, right?
No.
But you have to build a rapport in a relationship to some degree so that it's not all transactional. I mean,
Right.
unless there's some toxicity there, you don't want toxicity, and that's where the boundaries need to be, right? You know that if you take that phone call, you're going to feel deflated afterwards, right? You know that you're not going to go to that event because it's just going to make you feel horrible afterwards. And so boundaries, I'm so glad, Becky, that you created some boundaries around that for sure. So I'm sorry, go ahead, Andrew. What are your thoughts around boundaries with relationships?
Yeah, so that was something I had to learn as well. Being able to say no is another big thing. And I think there's a difference between saying no to someone that you have a transactional relationship with, to someone that you have a deep connection with. Very, very different. But I think at the base of it, having that intentional, that purpose driven action is going to allow you to really grow in that area.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm thinking about we have our leadership program, our RG program, and the other day, and Andrew's actually a member of it. And the other day, we're pretty like, every week we have a different topic that we discuss, and we did this blue envelope topic, right? Where we all just played a silly game together. And one of our folks, Shannon, actually pointed out how playing it together virtually, where we had to put these things in our mouths and talk funny and drool, and it was funny. And but Shannon pointed out that it wasn't a waste of time, because we were communicating, we were teaching each other how to do it, we were actively listening, so we were practicing the things that we want to practice in our work environments. So Katie's in. All right, welcome, Katie. Katie says, what does no mean?
No, Katie, just no.
Katie, are you there? Go ahead and pop in on the screen. We'll say hi to you too.
Careful, she'll run down the hall.
So what do you think about leaders who try to create these opportunities, these retreats, these opportunities for fun for their team as kind of like these team building exercises?
I think they're great. You have fun, and some people might see that they're not work related, and at the very at the base of just looking at it on the surface, sure, it's not work related, but looking deeper into the purpose behind them, where you're bringing someone out of their comfort zone to do something with people that they wouldn't normally do it with. And I think there is beauty in that. I think that gives other people the opportunity to teach others what they know. It gives the opportunity for other people to learn things that they probably wouldn't have learned before, and to experience something new. And to your point, the other week where we had the blue envelopes, having, even virtually, that was a team building event virtually done, and it was done in such a way where you had other people teaching others how to put the thing in their mouth, which that's great, because that showcases other people's talents and their skills and kind of where they are. And I think for me, I kind of see it as an opportunity to observe others and see where they shine, so that skill and that talent that they have can be highlighted later. And I might maybe need to tap into that at a later date, because I can't be everything for everybody. So being able to know what other people are good at, how am I going to find out what that is unless I put people in the situation where they have to show it?
Yes, exactly. Frank likes it. He says it requires a bit of explaining the why, which is incredibly powerful. Yeah. And you're getting a bunch of hearts and thumbs up and all kinds of fun stuff right now. And so you're touching upon a point that Dave Mather touched upon when he was with us last month, which is these emotional bank accounts, right? So you're depositing into these emotional bank accounts and you're learning what this person's love language is. You're learning how to help this person. You're learning how this person can help you, right? And so I love that you're talking about this long-term, bite-sized, contribution on a regular basis to build those relationships. Angelica says can't be everything for everyone, and she's working on that. All right, Angelica. So let's explore. Okay, let's say we realize building relationships is important, but we simply don't know how, right? Now, I've given a couple examples before you popped on. My daughter manages a spa, and in the break room they have a bulletin board, and so she interviewed them, kind of said, what's your favorite this, and put little memes everywhere, and really personalized this bulletin board so that her people would feel connected and good, right? Something so simple, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's talk about the things that you think we can do to begin to build these relationships with our peers, in our office, or our employees.
So what I like about what your daughter did is she was intentional. She saw a need for something and she said to herself, no, I'm going to change this. And even more so, how am I going to change that? So I think one of the great things is when you highlight other people's talents or even successes, in such a way where other people can see it and other people can celebrate, that's huge. And that it gives all of the feels, to not only receive it, but to even give it. And that's a feeling that it can't really describe until you're actually doing it. And for myself, I have found that building relationships, it has to be done on an individual basis. If you try and blanket your strategy with every person that you meet,
yeah,
you're going to win some, you're going to lose some, and you're going to have some that are just kind of like, oh, what is this guy doing here?
exactly.
And being intentional and individual with your actions, and that authenticity, it's going to really show in that relationship.
And I want to just touch on this for a second, because I've had this experience recently where, I'll have some other influencers trying to connect with me, which I love. I'm totally open to. But you could tell it's a copy and paste because they forgot to remove certain things. And they're like, dear name, I've been watching you on Facebook and you've been amazing. Let's connect. And I'm like, dear name. And so, yes, so Frank agrees, relationships are personal. Angelica says, yes, we already. So when I'm thinking about, when I get those messages from people that you clearly know, it's just this typed up thing, that's just like, hey, miss, we want to work with you. And I'm like, and so I love the personal piece. And so, some of the things that we talk about in January, we had our leadership masterclass where we talked about how do you build those relationships, right? And it's almost like generating this. If you really need structure, I know a lot of people really need structure. So sometimes it means writing a list of 5 people that you want to work on, or 10 or 20 that you want to work on a relationship with, and building out all the things you know about that person and all the things you don't. Right? What's their love language, and how can you, what's your next strategy, really? Is it a cup of coffee? Or if someone said, hey, go out for ice cream, they should probably know that you're lactose intolerant, right? Not you in particular, but getting to know somebody first would make the most
right.
sense.
Or are they a vegetarian, or are they a vegan, and catering to those needs. And a lot of that. So back in October, I was pulled back to my agency for an unknown amount of time. And I kind of saw that as an opportunity to really get to know the other analysts in my unit. And I honestly, I didn't know them outside of their name. Barely knew what they looked like. Barely knew, if they were married or had children or anything of that nature. So yes, to some, those questions can be superficial. Oh, do you like apples? Or what's your favorite color? For me, I take those superficial questions and I amplify it. So if I know what your favorite color is, I'm going to try and incorporate that into something that I do for you. So one of the things that I like to do is I like to make my own cards. So a handmade card, and for the holidays, I did this for everybody. And in that card, I was very intentional with a personal message to each person. No
Yeah.
two cards were the same, with the exception of maybe Happy Holidays.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and in that card, I did two things. One, I wrote down what I liked about them, about the relationship that I had with them. And it came from an authentic, genuine place. So I had to be genuine with it. Because if I was superficial or fake with it, you would see it. Um, and the second thing I wrote was something that I really enjoyed about them that they brought to the
Yeah.
table. So I highlighted and kind of rose them up a little bit. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and to me, it was a simple act. I enjoy making cards already, so that was an easy thing for me to do. Writing the message, that came easy for me. It's now what, April?
Mm-hmm.
And I look at some of the desks, and please don't take them down if you're watching. But they still have their cards up, and
Of course
that
they
makes my
do.
heart sing, because that shows to me how impactful that was to them, and that was a test moment for me. So now, if I know what your favorite color is,
Mhm.
I'm going to incorporate that into maybe a birthday card.
So on that note, Frank's favorite color is purple. If you are listening live
Okay, okay.
right now, go ahead and plug in your favorite color into the chat right now so Andrew knows what it is. And if you're on the replay, go ahead and plug in your color, your favorite color. And so Andrew, you bring up an important point. I knew this amazing leader. She was running a maybe it was a six-figure business, right? But she was close enough. And so she had many, many people that she dealt with, like many, many people that she dealt with. Michelle says green, all right. um, and so, but she asked everybody their favorite color. And so when they had an event together, she actually got roses with each person's favorite color, or the flower, of each person's color, and put it in their seating, right? With a little
That's
note.
awesome.
I mean, how amazing. Okay, so over here we have some fun comments. Green, yellow, pink. Sadie says, "What I'm finding is trying to make relationships with coworkers, but they have no interest in reciprocating." Ooh, that's a good one. So
That is
Vicky,
good.
Vicky purple, Caroline green, Becky yellow, pink says Ria, Julie yellow. All right, all right. So what do you say to someone who's not reciprocating?
Um, I would say go back to your why. What is your purpose? Is your purpose in trying to get the other person to reciprocate that? Because if that's your purpose and you're finding that that isn't working, then I would challenge you to reframe your mindset there and maybe better articulate why you're building that relationship with them. Everyone is going to be different. Um, I kind of refer to those people as bumps on a pickle. I'm not a fan of pickles myself, so it works for me. Um, they tend to be a little sour. Um, and I think we all have someone in our lives that is a bump on a pickle.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what my approach has always been is I want to be inclusive, regardless of
Mm-hmm.
how this person is, because at the end of the day, I can say I met my purpose. I can say I did what I needed to do to fulfill my goal. And if they decide to react to that, fantastic. And if they decide they want to build a stronger relationship, I'm all for it.
I honestly, like, I love this piece because what you're really talking about is your intention versus the impact, right? And so you're saying that if my intention is to get them to like me, then I'm focused in the wrong direction. If my intention is to make them feel cared about, that's my
Mhm,
why, then I'm
mhm.
focused. Whether or not it's reciprocated doesn't matter. That's like saying, like,
Right.
I love you. Like, you want someone to say it back, but in the end, you want them to receive that. You want them to really know that, right? And
Yeah,
so,
and
oh,
and
I'm
and if
sorry.
you're if you're genuine with your actions, they will know that. They
Mm-hmm.
will know that, and you might get every once in a while hey, thank you for inviting me out to lunch, or hey, thank you for that card, that really meant a lot. And sometimes that's all you really need.
Exactly. Exactly. And so the key is persistency. The key is, it sounds like from what you're saying, the key is not wanting anything in return. You're building a
Hmm.
culture that, you don't know what that person's facing. You don't know if
Hmm.
their husband just lost their job, or if they just found out that their mom has cancer. Like, you have no idea what's going
Right.
on in someone's world. And so to expect things in return is hard. But if you simply just put out into the universe what you want brought back, right? Like, you want to put out this kind feeling and you hope that they receive it, and that's the intention, then that's what the relationship is built on, right? I'm
Right.
sure.
And actually too, like when someone's mood changes, like you know what their baseline is their everyday. If it changes drastically, then that should be a key to be like, okay, something's up.
Mhm.
And as someone who is building these relationships, I want to, from there, not only are you able to build a stronger relationship, you're getting to know the person a little bit more so that you
Exactly.
can really identify with what they're going through.
Yeah, yeah. And you can identify their skills and talents that they can bring to the table. Okay, so if we were to sum it up, okay, so if you're walking away, because we believe in action steps, right? So you're here for a reason. We want you to walk away with some action steps around building relationships with your employees, with your staff, with your family, right? The first thing you really talked about is active listening. Like, just listen to them, and listen to what they need to say versus, um, oh, hopefully, hopefully y'all can still see us. Can you guys still see us? Let us know that you were still here. Andrew, I'm hoping that you're still here. Okay. Um,
Yeah, I'm still here.
okay, good. I just got a message saying your Wi-Fi is done. Okay. Yeah, so good. So we're good. Phew. All right. And so, if we were to talk
Crisis
about,
averted.
right, crisis averted. If we were to talk about key things that we could do, we're talking number one, be in a space, a physical space where you can, thank you, Frank, thank you, Michelle, be in a physical space where you can listen. And you're saying, get to know people, get to know your people. If you have to
Mhm.
write a list, write the list, right? But get to know your people. And then the second thing you said is get intentional. Be
Mhm.
intentional about, delivering that caring quality. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, guys. I know we kind of went in and out, and they're like, where are you guys? So, be intentional. Think about it right now. What can you do intentionally, right?
Mhm.
You can maybe make cards like Andrew made, or maybe your thing is like, your neighbor likes Tootsie Rolls, so, or your employee likes hot chocolate, or whatever it is. And it doesn't have to be money wise, right? It doesn't have to be
Right.
something financial based. It could be the pause. It could be, let's go for that walk to the water bubbler together, right?
Right.
Um,
And or even I think the You Matter cards. So
yes.
you can get like a small little business card that says You Matter on the front, and on the back you can just say a quick, hey, thank you so much for all your help on this project the other day. Um,
Yeah.
that's going to speak volumes.
Exactly. A little teeny you matter card. You can do like my daughter, the manager of the spa, did, and get to know the attendants a little bit better, and then do a bulletin board for them. So there's lots of fun ideas. What are you guys thinking? So the folks who are listening here, go ahead, whether you're listening live or in the replay, let us know one thing that you're thinking about right now that you're going to do to build relationships with your boss, if you're the boss, with your people, right? Donna says love languages are important in the workplace as well. Andrew has been a great asset to this team, and I feel like the unit as a whole is stronger. Oh, that is so sweet. That is wonderful.
Thank you, Donna.
Frank says truth is relationships are built in small moments and not large monumental moments. Frank, you're a genius.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Caroline says my professor sent me an animated card before my recital. It was so simple but made me feel so special. Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that. Yes. So, building relationships doesn't have to be this big scary thing, right? It could be this simple thing where you just like, hey, if you don't know what to say, I mean, some of the key things you can talk about: family, animals, and kids, favorite
The
things to
easy
do
things.
outside of work, right? Yeah, exactly.
And
Exactly.
and and like Frank said, and like you said, start small, start simple, and then just build off of that, and you'll find that you have like this snowball effect
Mhm.
of knowledge of who these people truly are.
And I got to tell you, because I run a team, right, and have a bunch of people that I connect with on a regular basis, and it's hard to remember dates and events, and I'm not the best at that at all. I have to admit, I've missed a lot of things, but sometimes, like, if I hear someone say something, I'll try to just scribble it down on a piece of paper and just stick it on my computer so that I remember, right? A friend of mine, it was my really good friend. She was getting surgery, and I'm like, shoot, I have to write that down in my calendar. Like, text Jen, she's going into surgery, right? And so sometimes it means putting it in the calendar. Sometimes it means putting it on a little sticky, sometimes it means, it means missing some things, right? But ultimately it means being intentional. And I think that's what we're learning here from this wonderful expert here, Andrew, on building relationships. It's about intention. And so I've worked with Andrew for the last 6 months and have seen firsthand how he has really just been so intentional about the relationships he's building and so caring and so connected with the people. And, there's no doubt in my mind that you are going to, fulfill every career goal that you want to, as well as personal goal, because, you have this beautiful way of empathizing, of connecting, and really letting people know that they're human. So when people say, oh, work is work and you can relax when you go home, we all know that doesn't happen, right? So we may as well, enjoy, be smart and intentional. And it actually increases that productivity like you were talking about, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Any last words of advice before we wrap up our session here?
I think the only other thing that I would say is also to find your purpose, find your why. I know it seems very elementary and, you might hear it all the time, but really, truly, that is only going to help you identify what your intentional action is going to be so that you can build those strong relationships.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. That's a great way to end it. And so for those of you who are loving on Andrew, he's actually going to be back with us in a couple of weeks during our productivity masterclass. Who is registered for our productivity masterclass in April? I'm so excited about this one because we're looking at how to be more productive by incorporating in these alignment and leadership strategies, right? And so Andrew's going to be with us to share his personal story in just a couple weeks. And so I'm really excited about that because he's phenomenal. Donna and Katie, I know that you know him personally, and Rhea. So you guys are lucky, right? For the rest of the world, you have to wait 2 weeks and check Andrew out in a couple weeks. So everyone's saying you are amazing, you're phenomenal. Katie says, we are very lucky to work with you. You've been insanely amazing. That's awesome. Thank you, Michelle. Yes, it's our free masterclass. It's 4 days this time around, 4 days. And that's actually one of the ways Andrew started with our team, is going to the masterclasses and learning and growing. And, so if you are a mid-level supervisor or a small business owner or a professional, right? And you are spinning and spinning and spinning because you're constantly putting out all these fires and you want to learn how to get more productive and less busy, right? Then join us for our free productivity master course. And I see Becky here, Angelica, all of you guys have already done different master classes. So you know the energy, you know how phenomenal it is, right? It is amazing to be part of these sessions. So make sure you register, share the link. Anyone who fits those criteria, right? Small business owners, mid-level supervisors, or professionals who want to increase productivity, give them a link that Michelle just posted there and register. When you register, you actually are going to get a workbook from us as we get closer to that date. So Donna wants to go, fantastic. And for those of you who run teams of people, if you run a team of people, right, and you want your whole team to go, we actually have a team toolkit just for you. So reach out to myself or Caroline Collins personally, and we will set you up with the team tool to help your team actually go through it together. So Caroline says, it's honestly my favorite thing here in the tribe. Yeah, it's so fun. And everybody just walks away with success, which is really, really wonderful. So, well, Andrew, you've been phenomenal. Thank you so much for your thoughts. Next week, we are actually expanding on this, and we'll be talking about being the team chiropractor, right, and how to do that. Yes, thank you, Rhea. You will get so much out of it. And several people have taken it, different versions of it, 4 or 5, 6 times, because it always aligns you with your priorities. It boots out the stuff that doesn't matter. It aligns you with what's important. And it really accelerates your progress. So we're building one. This one is productivity and leadership all combined into one, wrapped into 4 days, not 7. So 4 days, you'll come and join us Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at the end of the month. Angelica's taking it for the 5th time. Fantastic. I love it. 8th time for Michelle. Oh, my Lord. Michelle is one of our great success stories. She went from doing a report for 6 hours every 2 weeks and turned that report into a button click. So, so she's saved herself 6 hours. What's that? 24 hours a month, right? Times 4, 4.3 if you're all professional, right? Yes, same for you. Awesome. So the Productivity Master Course is coming up at the end of the month. It is free. Join us, register and commit and join us, right? Caroline has lost count. She has no idea how many times she's taken it. Yeah, exactly. We love doing it. We love sharing stories. So Ria's going to share her story. Andrew's going to share his story. And we have a couple of other surprises and tools for you as a leader of your life, right? You're the CEO of your life. So we have some tools for you as the CEO of your life to really be happy, have that work-life integration, be excellent in both. Excellent in career, excellent in productivity, and excellent in your home life. So beautiful. Well, thank you again, Andrew. I truly, truly appreciate you and everything you stand for. And I'll go ahead and I'll sign off now. But thank you. You're in a bunch of love here. So if you have questions for Andrew,
thank you for having me.
Yes, if you have questions for Andrew, type it into the chat. He promised to go back and take a look at your comments later on tonight. So if you're listening to the replay, he'll get back to you as well. All right. Thank you all. Thank you, Andrew.
Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.